We are on day 17 in the search for Nancy Guthrie, but it feels like we're back at square one. Sheriff Nanos confirming to Fox's Jonathan Hunt today that the DNA found on the glove does not match any of the DNA found in the house. And it appears they're no closer to figuring out who the suspect is.
We haven't narrowed it down to anything other than we have certain pieces of evidence that we're looking at to try to find this individual. Whether it be DNA, whether it be that ring camera video, whether it be evidence at a Walmart that might lead us to somebody.
Was there anything taken from the home other than Nancy Guthrie?
I cannot say that.
Was there sign of a struggle in the home?
I can't comment to what happened in that home or didn't happen.
Out of uniform, that's kind of interesting. Here to respond is Stuart Kaplan, former FBI special agent, and Callahan Walsh, co-host of America's Most Wanted. Okay, Stuart, what now? I think people held out hope that a glove, which, I mean, you find gloves everywhere these days on the side of the road, but, and why won't the sheriff tell us more about what happened inside the house?
Thank you for having me, Laura. Let me start this way. It's what the FBI is not telling us. I know my agency. I can tell you that they are in a deep dive in forensic analysis. I think they are very concerned about protecting very sensitive techniques that have been deployed in this particular case. I think they are concerned about avoiding jeopardizing future prosecutions because quite frankly, they don't want those techniques, those sensitive forensic techniques that have in fact been utilized in this case, to be known or published to the public. I will even go as far as saying, Laura, when I see my agency go dark or go silent, I do believe that they have a person or persons of interest. I think they are sifting through the analysis. I've said it time and time again. I think they are concerned about getting the right person right. I think they're exercising a measured approach. But let me tell you, the FBI is disciplined. This is the best FBI on the planet. They're doing what they're tasked to do. They're staying on point.
I hope you're right. Callahan, we're also learning that genetic genealogy testing is now being used in this case. The FBI told Fox Digital that investigative genetic genealogy is going to, they hope, identify potential relatives through public genealogy databases when traditional law enforcement databases like CODIS produce no matches. So Callahan, is this like Ancestry or 23andMe, those types of deals?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Now, without the hit in CODIS, they need to expand their search. And luckily, we do have access to these databases. Thousands and thousands of people have put their DNA into these private databases, but it will take a bit longer. You know, FBI is able to access CODIS right away. That's their database. But it's going to take some time for them to be able to go through these other databases. And let's hope there's a hit. Let's hope that they are able to find somebody out there that's related to this individual, that has done their ancestry report, that their DNA is on file, because I think we all put a lot of eggs in that basket that glove would come back with a match, and unfortunately it didn't pan out.
Yeah, Stuart, Sheriff Nanos has been very sensitive to the criticism he's received from early on. He's kind of pushed back on this in various interviews, but he's also given evolving answers on whether or not he thinks that this is a targeted kidnapping. Watch.
Is there any indication so far as to whether this was a random abduction or targeted?
It's like I said earlier, you know, we're looking at all the leads, and we don't know. We're going to assume both sides of that. Obviously, I misspoke, or maybe somebody misheard me, but I've never believed that she was or was not a target.
I believe it was a kidnapping.
I believe it was a kidnapping.
Targeted kidnapping.
Yes, I believe whoever did that knew what they were up to.
Stuart, he seems pretty clear on this now, but again, I think the public was very confused, and maybe that was part of the just normal process. But there's just so many unanswered questions. To me, it's a little odd that it's discounted, the burglary, botched burglary idea. Do you discount that at this point?
Well, I'll say this, Laura. I think they obviously have a lot more information. Obviously, they know what the crime scene looked like. They know whether or not personal items were taken. They know a lot more than they're telling. But what I think is doing a disservice to the men and women who are on the ground is it undermines the confidence in saying that our law enforcement partners are doing everything that they can possibly do. And I think to some extent the sheriff does a disservice by giving these mumble jumble or these confusing explanations or holding back obvious information such as what was taken from the house. Now, I get, because I've been on the other side, why you don't want to reveal that. I just think it erodes the confidence.
Yeah. Callahan, do you agree?
I do. You know, it's tough because law enforcement has to play that fine line. They want to have the public have confidence in them. They want to be able to keep the public up to speed, but they can't share everything with the public. And so that makes it a very difficult task for law enforcement. And hindsight is always 20/20. We can always say, hey, this should have been done differently. This should have never happened. And you know, investigations are never a seamless operation. You know, it's just real police work that needs to be done behind the scenes. You know, you release too much information and you have conspiracy theorists going in a million different directions. You'll also get thousands and thousands of erroneous tips as well, too. And that's a big part of this case now.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.